Hi, welcome back to the Stealthy Nomad. Now I know I've done a couple time-lapse videos in the last year or so on cleaning out the chicken coop, but I thought I'd make another one now that it kind of explained a little bit more about what I'm doing and the certain little things that we do to maintain and keep our coop going. And so I thought I'd give you a small virtual tour of that and show you guys what all goes into it. So one of the first things I'm going to do before pulling everything out of the coop is get all the chickens out in the run and close them off there so they're not in my way or escaping as I'm cleaning out the coop. So some of the tools we'll be using today to clean out the coop is a shovel, we have the wheelbarrow, a whole bale of straw, we have a broom to get some of the dust out, and then we'll be refilling a lot of things inside with things that we need for them. We have in here is kind of our little maintenance shed for things that are all coop related. We do have solar power on our coop. Right now that's running a fan, but during the winter it'll run also our water heaters and our little wall heater that we have up there for them. We have protective boot coverings that I'll be putting on. We have a mask that I'll be putting on because I'm going to be putting some chicken dusting in there, and I'll explain that a little bit later when I get there. We have mealworms, which is a good treat for them. A random bucket. This is full of wood ash that we burn here on the farm, and they use it as a dusting agent. Down here we have their chicken feed is in here, so all of their food will be replenished and they'll get fresh food. This small bucket, because we have chicks, is now all chicken baby chick feed, so it's a little different makeup for it. And then we have down here our chicken scratch, which they get. It's kind of a treat for them as well, just like the mealworms. They don't get that nearly as much during the summertime as the wintertime because corn makes their expands in their stomachs. So with that, I'll get masked up, I'll get booted up, I'll mount this out there, give you a little time lapse of the pulling everything out, and then we'll move into the coop and start our work there. Okay, well, as you can see, we've got a lot of the stuff out, so we're gonna just take a real quick glance in here, show you what we got working with. Everything that's needs to be cleared out short of the spent hay is out of here, and you can see the ladies have laid some eggs, so we'll get them out of there. And sometimes they find interesting places to lay. They made their own nest up there and just laid an egg, so I just gotta be pretty diligent about cleaning out the coop and checking places that might be nooks and crannies to take care of things. As I stated before, there's the fan that is powered. You can see the cable running up here. This is a heating element, which during the winter time will stay keep it in here pretty warm, at least above freezing. And you can see everything is plugged in from this cable here to this outlet there. Come on the outside of this coop here, and you can see that's where that's being plugged in. Come on into our shed here. Inside here is a battery. I have the red cable or yellow cable coming in through the that's being plugged in there, and then the black cables coming in are from the solar panels on the roof that plug in here. These two are these lights. One's in here, one's in the coop to bring me some lighting when I need to do some lighting. So I will probably be using that here, right here, and it seems to be on already. So we'll get to it. So you saw I filled up their water bucket out here. They're enjoying some snacks. I got another water bucket here that I brought down. Usually we will use our rain barrels, but it hasn't rained in a while. So you can see here we got some stuff out here. Let me give you a small tour of the inside real quick. Show you what we're working with. So inside there you got two, essentially they're boxes to collect their droppings because they tend to roost overnight up there. So it's an easy way to clean that off by taking them out and dumping them. They got a nice ramp here to get up to that, but most of them just kind of fly and semi-fly. They don't really fly, but they get up there. I built this little lean-to to help cover their water because our black chickens, our IMs, they like to roost up top here. And when they roost up top overnight, they like to use the bathroom, and it falls in their water. And I was trying to avoid that, so I built a lean-to for them. Inside, we have 6 nesting boxes. I saw those before I got started. Over here, they have another roost in front of a window. The windows are screened with a wire, a mesh wire cloth, so that I can open the windows and I can open the screens and let maximum air through on the nice days to help them keep a breeze and help things from overheating in here. And at the tail end of the coop clean out, you saw me sprinkling this white powder down, and that's DE. It's a poultry powder, and it just helps them alleviate mites. It destroys the mites, which is nice. It's slightly preventative, but sometimes the chickens get mites and they need it. So you see we got a cat litter box here, which is going to be an additional step into preventing the mite problem. And we have our food bins, which we're going to, they pretty much cleaned out for me already, which is nice. It was good timing. But I'm going to empty them completely out and fill them back up with food. The waterer, I'm going to use that bucket of water, clean that rim out, and completely fill that back up with fresh water. Again, usually it's from our rain barrels here, but there is nothing in there. You can go over there and check it out. You can see it's just below our nozzle there. Needs to be cleaned out too, probably in the near future, so that'll be a thing. So there's this water feeder and this food feeder, this red one, that won't be going back inside. So what we did is we recently got more chickens, and while we were acclimating them to the rest of the group, we had that folded up kennel inside, and that's where they would go at night, and during the day they would all come out and play collectively. But now they're all good, they're friendly, no one's fighting each other, there's a good pecking order and stand, so they're in a good place with that. So that's awesome. During the summertime, a coop clean out is usually about 1 wheelbarrow, one and a little bit more wheelbarrow of hay. During the winter, it's about double that because we like them to have more warmth in there, more cuddle space, stuff like that. And you saw at the tail end there, I was actually sweeping up and scooping up just shovelfuls of dust and a little bit of straw, and it's part of the game. It's broken down straw, it's part of their dust bath, so things like that. So let's get back to this dust bath. So this is just a cat litter box that we'll come in here and we'll grab our container here and open the lid. And now this is just dustings from our fire pit when we burn wood, and on the account we don't feed the chickens weeds, and they're not sprayed. We just give them a little bit of something to dust themselves off into, and this kind of serves a similar purpose to the white stuff, white powder, poultry powder we put down for them. We just find a corner to shove that in. I usually try to keep it far away from their water, far away from their food as much as possible, and that's kind of how that goes. So it looks like we do need to definitely get some more fires going. What a shame. I need to enjoy a couple fires around our lovely fire pit out here. So next is going to be the waterer here. We just got a brush, tip it on its side, give it a good brushing, get some of this nonsense off. This waterer, personally, I dislike, because until it runs out, there's no easy at-a-glance way to see if it's full or not, or empty, or close to empty, or any of that jazz. So what I usually do here is I will also give a little splash inside the rim to help get a lot of that out. I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. And you're not gonna see this for a minute. And that's pretty much that. Need to quickly put this back on, otherwise it'll just keep running out and then running out all over the place, because it's physics. So this comes in here, and we just set this on their lean-to, and drink to it to their delight. And it's always important to have water inside the coop and outside the coop, because they get thirsty, and when you shut them in at night, that's many hours without water and food, which is not necessarily true, because food is always in their coop, because this stuff is horrible when it gets wet. So just shaking all the hay out. As much as you give them pep talks on, hey, don't poop in your food, hey, don't kick straw in your food, they don't listen. So they make more work for me by continuing to do that, and it also ends up wasting some of their food, because sometimes they get picky and they'll be like, there's stuff in this, I don't want to eat that. So something I usually do during every feeding process with them is and again, not so much during the summertime times, but I will sneak some treats and scratch into food. So tend to give them a good scoopful of food. Gotta fill these up. So usually I'll do 2 full big scoops of food. Give it a shake down. Get that full a little bit, and then I'll give them a little scoop of scratch on top of that. And we did have a problem at one point where they knew I was doing this, and they were kicking all of their food out to get to the nummy stuff. And it's like, hey guys, you're defeating the purpose of us feeding you. If we're just gonna kick the food out. And I'll be perfectly honest, I am not a super master chicken person, but I don't know if they consider food that's not in their food container, you know, food that's on the ground. I don't know if they consider that a lost cause and don't eat it, or they forage for it later, or how that works. So it does make me curious if they kick it out and then they come back to it later. The problem is when they kick it out, it gets on the ground, and there's potential for them to go to the bathroom on it, and that's never fun. And it's probably a big deterrent to them wanting to finish eating it. So you can see the food comes back in. I tend to drop one right here, and then I drop one over in this direction, and kind of sets them up pretty nicely. So that's good. And it kind of keeps them from doing things on it. I try to make sure things aren't too much in the way of, or they might be coming in to do things from the roof there, or the ceiling. But so that's that. There's one other thing that was crossing my mind, and now I can't remember it specifically, and it's starting to tease my brain a little bit. Scoops go in, doors go closed. Oh yes, this over here. Let me this bucket, because it's a tiny amount of time that I don't stand up. So in this container, we have something special for them, and then in the other container, we have something else special for them. So this container is grit. Sometimes we go with the darker brown grit. Sometimes we go with other things. And then the other bin is oyster shell. The grit is there for helping their digestive system. They don't have stomachs like you and I do. They need to nibble on stuff and let it roll around in their stomach, and the rocks and the grit break it up for them, which is nice. It's kind of cool. And then the oyster shell is mostly, if not allly, did I just make up a word? Maybe. But the oyster shell is for the ladies, for the hens, because it helps give proteins to the chicks and the chickens and their eggs. So it helps their egg shells get stronger. So I'm gonna put you back in the coop here, and give you guys just a look-see on what it's like when they all hightail it back in for their grand reveal. I'll shoot that on my camera here, and I'll shoot that with my phone, and you can see it from both angles. Now let me come in here and give this hook up there. Watch them all come in. So some come check out the food right away. Some come check out their nesting boxes. Yeah, I know, ladies, I took your eggs away, so they're going to be a little stressed about that. But they're just kind of check things out. Pretty soon they'll start looking on the ground. start scratching around at things. Kind of surprised not as many of them came inside and rushed in. Sometimes they get super excited to see a clean coop. Other times not so much. So she's probably the one, this one up here, who tends to nest over there. And it makes me wonder why she chooses that space. Alright, ladies, enjoy your new clean coop. Keep it clean. You'll also see that we have this little extra hook for the door. Make sure that stays hooked so they're secure. And then it's cleanup. Gotta clean all this stuff up, put it away, clean the wheelbarrow away. You can see I use just shy of a full bale of hay, but I'll use that hay. Hey ladies, I use that hay a little later to do this guy's coop. Well, this girl's coop. I guess they're guys. There's a lot of roosters running around in here. A lot of roosters. And then there's Dee, who's been a very good mom for all these chickens. Very good mom. Hey Dee. So she's a silkie. And because the only rooster inside is Kylo, I think I've introduced you to him before. And he is a IAM. He's an all-black rooster. And all these chicks have 6 toes, which is a clear sign that their mom was a silkie, because that's just a trait that they all have. So despite the fact that we have IAMs and bedrocks and other chickens, other hens inside, we have all silky IAM mixes, which will be interesting to see how they come out, because silkies are small birds with a little afro, very, very fine feathers, almost like a fur. And there's Kylo. There's Kylo the man right there. Big boy. But he's the dad, and the mom is these guys. And like Dee, there's a white ones, we got brown ones, got really dark brown ones, but none of them are from the IAM ladies. So it's interesting. I want to see if they come out to be big birds with fluffy head pieces, or if they're going to stay small birds with fluffy head pieces, and just very curious on how they're going to kind of turn out. And it's really hard to find out what gender they are. Near impossible, because silkies are near impossible because of their feather types. So you can see in here in their run, they have also a dust bath, and they've been kind of making their own in places, because this all used to be sand, and they like to roll around in it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and this is the Stealthy Nomad signing off.